I cannot make a significant difference in this world.
And I refuse to believe that my actions can impact the lives of those around me.
I know without a doubt that God has not given me anything to offer.
It's foolish to think that what I do with my time and resources matters.
I possess something the world needs is a lie.
My life is of little consequence.
All of this is true unless I allow God to reverse my thinking.
My life is of little consequence is a lie. I possess something the world needs.
What I do with my time and resources matters.
It is foolish to think that God has not given me anything to offer.
I know without a doubt that my actions can impact the lives of those around me.
And I refuse to believe that I cannot make a significant difference in this world.
Hey, well, my name is Jason. I'm the lead pastor here of the church. If I've never had a chance to meet you, I'm just so honored that you're here today. On behalf of my wife and our entire team and myself, we're just so glad that you're here today. If you're just joining us, we're in part 2 of a 4-part message series called Be Rich. Be rich. Come on, be rich. Money's falling. You catch it. No, I'm just kidding. That'd be cool though. But hey, we're talking. If you weren't with us last week, let me give you a quick recap to build some foundation so we can all be on the same page as we go forward today. And we talked about last week that there is good news and there is bad news. And the good news is that we are rich, whether you feel like it or not, based on the statistics out in our world today and being alive in the United States of America. We're blessed. We are very, very, very blessed. And we said that if you make $30,000 or more a year, you are in the top 1% of wage earners alive on planet Earth today. We're blessed. We're rich. We're absolutely rich. And at the same time, we said that if you make $80,000 or more a year, you are in the top 1/10 of 1% of wage earners alive today on planet Earth. That's amazing. That's perspective to understand that we're blessed. So that was good news, but we said last week that there's also bad news with this whole thing, and the bad news is we're rich. We're rich, and sometimes when you're rich, it's harder to depend on God because we have our own stuff that we can depend on. We said that sometimes if you're rich, it's easier to be distracted from the things that really matter in life. And then at the same time, we said, number 3, that it's really hard because we have greater responsibilities because we're blessed and because we're rich. And so today we're kind of continuing our series, and we're talking about something today that the Bible talks about. And it may sound weird at first, but just go with me a little bit. And I'm talking about today what I would call, and the Bible calls, the deceitfulness of riches. The deceitfulness of riches. Jesus actually used this phrase in the book of Matthew, chapter 13. And he was telling a story about a farmer who was going out into his field, and he was throwing some seed out into the field. And Jesus said, be careful that the deceitfulness of riches don't choke out the growth. And so what he's saying we got to be careful at times in our lives because there is something that can hinder our spiritual growth, and it's the deceitfulness of riches. And so today I wanted to share with you a funny story too. And I don't know about you. If I have 2 kids. I have a 8-year-old and a 5-year-old, and my kids are hilarious. How many of y'all got some crazy kids or raised some crazy kids at one point of your life? Come on. All right. My kids are awesome. They're crazy a little bit, but my kids love going to a place that rhymes with yucky and please. Chuck E. Cheese. I'll just say it. I don't care. They sue me if they want. Okay. My kids love going to Chuck E. Cheese. They just love it. They love going to Dave & Buster's. And they love going to these places because they play these games, these video games, these arcade games. And for a lot of them, they play them and they get really good at them. And then they spit out these things. They spit out these things called tickets. And y'all know what I'm talking about if you've got kids and you go to the arcade and they get so excited that, Dad, look at all the tickets we're getting. It's amazing. My daughter's great. She goes around to every arcade, and if there's any like one ticket coming out, she grabs that sucker, says, Dad, look, I got one more. I got one more, because they believe that if we get enough tickets. We're going to get something awesome. It's going to change our life. It's going to make us so happy. If we just get enough tickets, it's going to be wonderful. And as a dad, after a while, I watch my kids play. And then all right, kids, you want some tickets? Step out of the way. Let dad play some games up in here. Let me show you how to do that skeet ball thing. I'll get it right in the middle. Every time you want some tickets, I'll get you some tickets. And so we'll get 10,000 tickets or something crazy, stupid number, And we're like, oh my goodness, we're going to get something awesome. And we go up to the counter to exchange our tickets. We got all these tickets. It's like my daughter, you can't even see her. She puts them down. How much? What will this get me? And the lady behind the counter is like, it could get you this. A little baby giraffe that maybe costs half a penny. You can get this, or you can get a kazoo. That's all your hard work will get you this. Or my personal favorite, the mini whoopee cushion. That's worth the price of admission to me. But it's like they get this idea that if I just get enough tickets, Dad, if we play enough games, if we accumulate enough tickets, we're going to get something amazing. It's going to change our life. It's going to be so much fun. And then we get the thing, and it's like this huge letdown because it's just a little baby giraffe. It's nothing really of importance. It's really not that cool. But what happens, what I've found in my life is that as we get older, sometimes we can move into a place where our tickets don't look like these anymore, but our tickets look like these now. Our tickets look like these, and we're thinking, oh my goodness, if I can just get enough of these tickets, if I can just get enough of these, then I'm going to be happy. Oh my goodness, if I get enough of these tickets, then I'm going to feel secure. Then I'm going to have significance. If I get enough of these tickets, then all of a sudden I'm going to have a great life. If I get enough of these tickets, I'm going to get something really great one day, and it's going to bless me, and I'm going to be so happy. It's amazing. But we realize that there is what the Bible calls deceitfulness of riches. One of my big ideas and themes today, if you're taking notes, you can write this down, is that the world wants us to serve money. The world wants us to serve money. In fact, Jesus said this in the book of Matthew. He said this, and he said it's so interesting. He says, no one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. It's so interesting for me as I read this because Jesus could have said anything here. He could have said, you can't serve both God and power. You can't serve both God and popularity. But he chose not to say that. Instead, he contrasted God and money. I think it's because Jesus knew something that a lot of us will realize it at times in our life is that money is probably the number one competitor for our heart. It can be the number one competitor. And so Jesus said, listen, you can't serve both God and money. You got to pick one. And I think it's so interesting because money is so attractive. I mean, isn't money so attractive? It's like, come on, give me more money. I need more money. Why is money? Why is this money just so attractive? Why do we want it so bad? I mean, it's like, come on, we just want more money. I'm in it. I get it. But why is it? And I was thinking about this. I think because money promises something that only God can truly deliver on. Like money promises what only God can provide. So what does money promise to you and me today? I think money promises a lot of stuff, but I think for the biggest things is money promises happiness. If you get enough money, you'll be happy. Money will give you the happiness that you've been looking for. I think at the same time, money promises security. If you just have enough, you'll feel secure. You'll be secure. You'll have it all. You'll be great. And so if I just get enough money, if I can earn enough money, if I can have enough money, then I'm truly going to be happy. And we find, if I have enough stuff, if I get the house that I really, really want with the extra bedroom and the extra bathroom, and then that's going to make me happy. Or if I get enough money, then I can go get my hair done. Come on, ladies. I can get my hair done more, and I can get my nails done a little bit more, have them scrub my feet a little bit, and then I'm going to be happy then. Or, come on, guys, if I have enough money, I can go play golf more. Come on. Or bowling, or hunting, whatever y'all do, it's all good. If I get enough money, then I can go do some stuff and have some stuff, and then I'm truly going to be happy. But I think we can realize that the more stuff that we accumulate, it's not bad. God has blessed us to be able to accumulate some things, but the more stuff that we have surrounding us, it's easy to see that stuff is never going to truly make you happy. That only true happiness, true joy comes from the Lord. And so we can look for all of these external things to make us happy, but the problem is they're never meant to. And so we're still unsatisfied. And we say, oh, well, it can give me security. If I just get enough money, if I earn enough money, I'll be secure, and that's great because I need security. But we realize is no matter how big our stack can get, and we get more money, and we're just giving more, and I'm going to be secure, then all of a sudden our marriage starts to fall apart, or the economy turns, and all of a sudden the thing that we thought was going to give us security actually has evaporated, and we can't give us what only God can provide. We think that money is going to give us stuff. We think the stack, as long as I have a bigger stack, I'm going to be secure. But it only promises what God can truly deliver on. I think that's why Paul, the Apostle Paul, who wrote most of the New Testament, said this, and this is our theme verse for this entire series in the book of Timothy. He says this, and Paul is talking to this young pastor, and he says, hey, he goes, command the rich people in your church, and we got to read this and understand that this is us. We live in the United States. We're blessed beyond measure. And so Paul is saying, listen, command them to be good at being rich. And he says this, command those who are rich in this present world not to be arrogant, nor to put their hope in wealth, which is so uncertain, but to put their hope in God, who richly provides us with everything for our enjoyment. I love that word, enjoyment. But he says this in verse 18, he says, command them to do good, to be rich in good deeds, and to be generous and willing to share. In this way, they will lay up treasures for themselves as a firm foundation for the coming age, so that they may take hold of the life that is truly life. That is truly life. And so last week we had a statement that we said, and our statement was simply this, and that is that God has blessed me with more than I need. I'm rich. If God has blessed you today with more than you really, really need, then we have to understand that we're rich. But I want to add to the line today, and we're going to continue to add to the statement every single week together as a church. And this week we're just adding this line, and it basically says this: I will not trust in riches, but in Him who richly provides. I'm not going to trust in my riches, but I'm going to trust in Him who richly provides for my life. So let's do something together. Let's have an interactive church service a little bit today, if we could do that. We're going to say this all together. This is declared over our life, and we're just going to repeat after me if you can. Everybody on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. God has blessed me with more than I need. I am rich. I will not trust in riches, but in Him who richly provides. That's so good. That's so good. I hope, and I pray that you internalize that and begin to believe that, because you are blessed. You may not feel it, but you are blessed. You are rich. We are so blessed by living in this country. And at the same time, I'm not going to trust in my stack. I'm not going to trust in this. I'm not going to trust in this, but I'm going to trust in Him who richly provides for my life. That's what I'm going to do. And so, but I think it's hard at times, because it's easy for us, and myself included today, that it's easy for us to put our love and our trust in money. It's easy for us to be that way. It's easy to fall into the traps. And so I want to give you 3 things this morning real quick that I think that we need to watch out for when we're putting our hope and our trust and our love into money. And that is, number 1, if you're taking notes today, when we trust and we love money, we come to a place where we never have enough. Number 1, we never have enough. enough. In fact, if I sat all of you down today and I asked you, are you happy with your current wage, and what would you like? And I think all of us would say, well, I just need some more. I need more where that's coming from. It's interesting. I saw this quote. One of the most richest guys that ever was in the United States, J.D. Rockefeller, a reporter asked him a long, long time ago, Mr. Rockefeller, how much money is enough? And his response was, just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. And he was one of the most wealthiest guys ever recorded in U.S. history. And he said, still, I need more because I'm not satisfied with where I'm at. Another rich guy in the book of Ecclesiastes, Solomon, said it this way. He goes, whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income. And it's so true because we can go through a place where we just want more. We need more. I just need a little bit more. If I just had more. And we have to realize that when we are in love with money, we're trusting money in these capacities, that we're never going to be satisfied. We're never going to find true fulfillment in life because we could always use more. If I asked you again, if I said, how much would you need to truly be happy? You would always probably say, more. I want more money. Just give me more money. Are you handing that money out today, Pastor? Because I need more. I think all of us would say that because we're just not satisfied where we're at. And then what happens is if we feel like if I just get my stack a little bit bigger, I'll be happy and secure. I need more. But Proverbs says it this way. It says the rich, and that's us. That's us this morning. Think of their wealth as a strong defense. They imagine it to be a high wall of safety. If I can get enough of this, if I can just get enough of this, I need more. I don't have enough. I need more. It's going to be my safety. It's going to be my strong wall surrounding my life. It's going to be the thing that my hope and my trust is. This is going to give me the security. This is what I need. I need more of it to really experience happiness. And that is what I would call the deceitfulness of riches, because money, again, promises something that only God can truly provide in our lives. Number two, if you're taking notes today, if we're loving and we're trusting in money, number two, we find it increasingly difficult to give big. To give big. It's interesting. Americans have been studied and researched like crazy. And research shows that in America alone, the more people make, the less of a percentage they give to be a blessing to others. The more that we make, the less that we truly give. And they found that actually the most generous people, percentage-wise, are people that make far less than you could ever imagine. It's the lower class, the people that really don't make it a lot. They give even more. And it's because I think they understand that maybe, this is just an idea, maybe they're saying, I'm not going to trust in that, but I'm going to trust in him who richly provides. I'm not going to just put my hope into that, because that's a deceitfulness. It's not going to truly give me what only God can provide for my life. And all throughout Scripture, God never talks about a dollar amount, that this is what you need to give to be satisfied, or for God to be satisfied with your giving. He never talks about that, but he does talk about a percentage. He says it's an equal sacrifice no matter who you are, no matter what you're going through. And Jesus even tells a story about a widow that he comes across. In Luke chapter 21, it says Jesus looked up and saw the rich, that's us, putting their gifts into the temple treasury. He also saw a poor widow put in 2 very small copper coins. Truly, I tell you, he said, this poor widow has put in more than all the others. All these people gave their gifts out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in all she had to live on. He said, listen, it's not about a dollar amount. She didn't give more money than the other people, but what she gave was a greater sacrifice, because these jokers were just giving out of their excess, but she gave everything that she had, because she said, listen, I trust in him alone. He's my provider. He's my source of everything. I got to put it all in because this is what I really believe in. I'm not going to trust in that because it's so uncertain, but I'm going to trust in him who richly provides. And then later in the New Testament, the Apostle Paul, who wrote most of the New Testament, was bragging on a generous church, a church that was just being so generous. And he says this, in the midst of a severe trial, like they're going through some stuff, he says their overflowing joy and their extreme poverty welled up in rich generosity. For I testify that they gave as much as they were able, even beyond their own ability. That these people didn't have a lot. They didn't make a lot. They were going through a tough situation in their life, but they said, I'm not going to let my life be determined upon that. I'm going to continue to be rich towards God. I'm going to continue to give more than I could even possibly give because I believe that He is my provider in everything that I do. When I was, a couple years ago, I was a youth pastor, and I took a bunch of students down to a missions trip in Mexico to build a church. And we went down there, and it was amazing to see this, building a church in the middle of nowhere, the village, like the remote places of Mexico and the mountains. We were building this church, and it was so fun to see. And one of the days we were there over a Sunday. We were there about a week. And a Sunday service came, and they had a church service. So I said, hey, let's take all the team to the church service. That'll be fun. And it was amazing because these people were coming out of the mountains, walking miles and miles just to come to church. They just wanted to be in the presence of God so bad. Nothing was going to stop them from coming down the mountains to be in the presence of God. They said, I'm going to be there no matter what. And this little church was filled with people. It was so fun to see. And the entire service was in Spanish. So I didn't speak a lick of English, Spanish. So I'm just it's dumb American. I'm looking, and I figured if I'm going to go to Mexico, I need to know one phrase and one phrase only. And that phrase was "Donde está el baño?" which means where is the bathroom? I figured that's all I really need down here. Where's the bathroom? And so I'm sitting there and I'm listening to this whole sermon in Spanish, and the people are just like overjoyed. They're just having the time of their life. They're celebrating God. And then at one part of the service, all the people stood up and they came down to the front, and the pastor was taking up an offering. And I sat there and I said, I can't believe this. Like these people got nothing. This is a third world country, and yet the pastor is taking up an offering right now. Are you kidding me? I mean, come on, these people need to be blessed with something. They don't need to give. But as I was watching this, what happened was so amazing, it changed my life. These people were coming up, and some of them were giving money. So some of them were giving a basket full of eggs. One guy gave a chicken. Another guy gave a goat. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, what is going on today? I don't understand this. What's happening? And I said to the missionary who was there with us, I said, what's going on today? Can you help me understand this? And he said, you don't understand. He goes, wow. He goes, what you're seeing today. He goes, these people, they're giving so big right now to God. They're giving so big to God right now. I said, well, explain. He goes, well, listen. He goes, the money that they're giving right now, they don't have a lot of money, but they're saying, I trust in God. I'm giving Him all that I have. And the person that's bringing the basket full of eggs, that's not just a couple of eggs for a couple of omelets. That's like a whole week's full of meals that they're just bringing before the Lord. And the guy that gave a chicken, that's not just a chicken. That represents not just one meal, but a whole bunch of meals that this chicken could provide for their family. But they're saying, I'm not trusting in their stuff. I'm trusting in Him who provides. They're giving so big right now. That goat represents livelihood. You couldn't believe what was happening. And as I sat there and I was watching this church who I felt like had nothing, these people who I felt had nothing, giving big to the Lord, I made a commitment in my life. I said, I'm never going to let some people in a third world country who I think don't have a lot outgive me, who live in America, and I'm blessed and I have more than I need and I'm rich and I could be a blessing to so many other people. I'm not going to let these people outgive me, because I understand that God has placed great responsibilities on us as a church and as Christians and as believers. We're in the United States of America. We are so blessed. I'm not going to let these people outgive me. And so I said, let's be a church that gives like rich people give. Let's be a church that really goes above and beyond to make sure that we're blessing people and making sure we're sharing and being generous on all occasions. But it's easy to come to a place where we say, well, you know what, I'll give when. I'll give when. I'll give when I get the house paid off. I'll give when I get out of debt. I'll give when I get out of student loan debt. I'll give when I get the job that I've really been looking and praying for. But I just came to a place in my life, and this is me, where I said, I'm not going to give when. I'm going to give now. I'm gonna give now. I'm gonna do what I can do now to be a blessing so more people in this community can come to know Jesus. I'm gonna be a blessing now so more single moms in our church can be blessed with Thanksgiving and Christmas stuff. And I'm gonna be a blessing now to veterans and people. Now, I'm not gonna wait till later. I'm gonna do now because God has blessed me with more than I need. And so we can be rich and we can give like rich people give. And then number 3, if you're taking notes today, what happens when we begin to love and trust in the money is we come to a place where we have money in the bank, but no peace in our hearts. I mean, we can have stacks and stacks of cash in the bank. Our 401ks can be doing good, but at the same time, we can have no peace in our hearts. Studies show you as well, the more people make in America, the more stressed out, depressed, anxious, anxiety problems they're having in our world because they understand this verse in the book of Proverbs, and it says this: better a little with the fear of the Lord than with great wealth and with turmoil. He's saying, listen, it's better to have just a little bit with the fear of the Lord than having this great stack and being so stressed out and anxious and having so much turmoil and chaos in our lives. He's saying it's better to have less. Now listen, if you're in this place today and God's blessed you with tremendous resources, I want you to know that God has blessed you with these resources. It's you because he trusts you and believes in you, that he can use you as a vessel to bless other people who are in need in our community, that you can be used by God to do great things in this place. But at the same time, like I said earlier, we can all come to a place where we say, I just need more. If I just have more, I need more of it because then I'll be a blessing. Then I'll have some things. But we realize that the more I have, I can still have problems. I can still have stress. I can still have anxiety. And the money promises something that only God can provide. We think, okay, if I just have enough money, I can buy away my problems. If I just have enough money, things can get better. But here's the deal. Here's the thing. That money promises something that only God can provide. Even though our stacks may be huge, our bank accounts may be huge, when our marriage starts to fall apart, money can't help us. When all of a sudden we're dealing with depression, money can't help us. When all of a sudden we're struggling and our kids are on drugs and alcohol, money can't help us. The only thing that can help us in the time of our need is truly more of Jesus, not more of money. We think more money is going to help us, but it's more of Jesus is what's going to truly help us. We come to the place where he said, I just need more money is going to fix my problems. That is a lie. It is more of Jesus that is always going to fix our problems. It's more of Jesus. And so we think that, you know what, if I just had enough more, I would be better. I would have better. I would feel better. I'd be happy. But it's the deceitfulness of riches. And I just said, hey, as a pastor of a church, I'm never going to be a pastor who makes people feel bad and it makes people like want to give and twist arms to give and do stupid gimmicks and things like that. But I want to be a pastor who leads the way in generosity. I want to be a great leader, and I want to lead people in a way that they can see that on every occasion we can be generous. On every occasion we can go above and beyond, because riches are not what we're going to put our hope in. It's in God and God alone. He's the one that's going to do it. And so one of the things that we've been doing since we started the church, we have these little cards out into the lobby that just says something extra to show you God loves you. And on the back is just a little bit of the stuff about the church. Hey, you're looking for a church, here's our service times, website, things like that. And my hope for these cards was always that a church full of people would say, I'm going to lead the way in generosity because God has blessed me with more than I need, so I'm going to be generous on every occasion. And I'm going to take what God has blessed me with. And I'm not just going to bless the church, but I'm going to bless people in the community that are far from God, that need to know that there's a God in heaven who loves them. And if I go out to eat today, you know, I'm going to have maybe my waitress, maybe she'll be good, maybe she'll be really, really bad and mess up my whole order. And I'll be frustrated because I didn't get the pancakes that I ordered with the bacon and whatever. But at the same time, I'm going to go above and beyond and bless her because she's a child of God and maybe she doesn't know it yet, but I'm going to go above and beyond because I'm going to be generous on every occasion. I'm going to look at people, maybe the barista at Starbucks, maybe she's making something for me, he's making something for me. There's a guy behind me, you know, I'm going to buy his Starbucks today And I'm just going to say, hey, can you just give him this card? Because I want him to know that there's a God in heaven who loves them, and we're going to be generous on every occasion. Maybe there's somebody at a restaurant. You look over, and they look like maybe it's a single mom with 5 kids. Kids are going crazy. They're disrupting your private meal. And then you say, you know what? I'm going to bless that lady because she looks like she needs some blessing right now. And I'm going to pay for her meal. And just, hey, waitress, can you go and just give them this card and let them know there's a God in heaven who loves them. They're going to be generous on every occasion. And I just believe that the word is going to get out. That there's a church in Rochester Hills, meeting at that high school. But they don't just talk about it, but they live it. They don't just claim to be generous, but they live it. They go above and beyond on every occasion. They give, and they give. They're digging freshwater wells in Mexico. They're building churches in South America. They're helping people come out of the sex slave industry and human trafficking industry. They're doing so much. This is a church that is being generous and generous and generous. Well, there's something with that God then. I want to know about the God that they're talking about. They're serving and they're celebrating because there's something real here. See, this is what we believe. We believe that it's more blessed to give than to receive. We're not just going to say that. I'm not just going to preach that. We're going to live that on all occasions. Because listen, God has blessed us with more than we need. We're rich. We're blessed. And we're not blessed for ourselves. We are blessed to be a blessing to the people all around us in this community. And we're going to let people know there's a God in heaven who loves them unconditionally right where they're at. And that we're not going to trust in riches, but we're going to trust in him who richly provides. Because it is all about Jesus all the time. Let's be that church. Let's be that church in our community. And let's see what God does through a church coming together, being generous on every occasion. We are blessed to be a blessing. We're blessed to be a blessing. We're blessed, church. We're so blessed. If we could stand up today, we're going to close.